Welcome back to the Loading Up Podcast. This is your host, Brother Zay, and I have my two co-hosts with me, Brother Tay and Producer Jay.
Do you mind if I steal a kiss from you?
Yes, I do mind, actually.
I'm taking it. Okay.
Now you don't have to fight me on it. I don't give a fuck.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on? So before we get into anything, let's just start out with the essentials of liking and subscribing this video. It's free to do. You guys are awesome, all of our listeners. If you don't have that bell on YouTube, just hit that bell so you can know when our next podcast will be up. All right, so
Yes.
talk to me, guys. Talk to me.
It's a new day.
Yes, it is.
We're recording on a new day. We made a swap of our podcast. So excuse me, brothers, now recording on Sundays and uploading on Tuesdays.
Now, watch that shit get changed again to Saturday.
And it might as well get changed again, but we'll talk about that another day. But for this week at least, we're recording on Thursday, uploading Saturday for loading up, which makes it a little bit easier for news because I feel like whenever we recorded on Sunday, we would miss whatever came out on Monday and Tuesday sometimes. So it's
Low-key, I was hoping that the FTC would drop some news.
I know,
man. I was like, come on, baby, give me some news. But,
yes, I was hoping that, watch it come out tomorrow, right?
Oh, no.
Or Friday, and we're going to upload this after. Honestly, if it comes out on Friday, we are recording something about it, and I'll add it to this podcast.
Let me know.
But yeah, so we're recording on a different day, and yeah, hopefully it all works out.
I think. Definitely. So talk to me.
So
what are you guys
Saturday.
playing? You guys playing anything new? Finishing any games? Hint.
Tay?
I like how it's every time we talk about it, it's undoing me. It's great.
He's throwing shade.
So
I guess I'll go. All right.
Yeah, go
So you would actually be very proud of me because I finally got done with Jedi Survivor.
Yeah. Wait, you did that already.
I know. I finished it, but now I 100%ed it. So now I am done. I deleted that shit off of my hard drive. Unless they release a DLC, I am never touching that game again. It was great though.
Nice.
I'm excited. The new DLC for Jedi.
Right? Imagine they'll announce it tomorrow. But you'll be even more proud of me because remember, I said this summer is the summer of my backlog.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
I am tackling my backlog at a very quick pace, although it could just be the game. Last week, because I finished it like after we recorded the last episode, and I started because I said I was gonna start Resident Evil 4, but then I was like, I never actually finished Resident Evil 2. So
Remake
I
or the
went back
first one?
to do that one first, and I am almost done with the second run of Claire, and then after that I got to do the second run of Leon, which honestly they're not that long of campaigns or whatever you want to call them, because you could beat them in because they're the same thing. It's like nothing really changes in between them. So once you did one run, you know where everything is in the second run. So it's like you could speed run it, honestly, and that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm speed running it. I did so I did Leon first, and then when I did Claire, I did it in like under 4 hours, and now I'm doing Claire's second run, and I'm already at 2 hours, and I feel like I'm almost done.
Okay. It's getting faster and faster.
Yeah, it's getting faster because I pretty much know where everything is, even though they change it around a little bit. I'm moving faster or whatever. But once I'm done with that, I'll move on. But hopefully by the next time we record, I'll be done.
Yeah. All right, very good.
Is that
I know,
what she
right?
said?
I am moving quite along.
I'm sure your wife would be so proud.
That. Your backlog appreciates that.
Yes.
I got
Absolutely.
to say.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't. I'd rather you keep plugging up so I got
You
more stuff to talk about.
He
I'm
wants
enjoying.
the jokes to continue.
Oh, that's a fucking loot lid, dude. It's great.
Damn.
You were
You
playing
guys have
anything new,
no
brother Tay?
faith. You have no faith in me.
I have two things. It's not about faith. It's about just making you be yelled at. It's hilarious. Shake my head. Was it? I got two things. Actually three. Online wise, I've been playing Dead by Daylight with some friends. Got some new killers, learned some new tactics on survival.
What was the most recent thing that came out from that? I know, was it the Nicolas Cage one? Did that come out yet?
I don't think that's out yet.
I don't really remember. The last one I checked and saw was like, it was like something. I believe it was it was like, I don't remember the last killer. It was like there was a lot of killers coming out every left and right, so I can't tell you which one I remember. But I just remember there was a lot of killers.
I was pissed because I heard that they had like the Stranger Things tie-in, but then they removed it.
Yeah, they got rid of that one.
But I think they're bringing it back.
They might. They still have Freddy, Ghostface. They still have Jigsaw, the ambusher from Jigsaw, not Jigsaw himself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. But, he's like, he's small, like he's not.
The Swamp Thing, aka the Hag. There's a lot of good killers in that game. I like the Hag because I get to teleport over the map and scare my friends. The best thing about playing that, I have a friend who screams. He gets so nervous playing that game.
I love it.
It's hilarious.
I love Dead by Daylight. I only play as the survivors. I never play as the killer.
It is so fucking difficult to play as the killer.
It is.
People be like, "How did you see me?" I'm like, "Motherfucker, I can't see shit."
I'm just swinging.
I want you. If you play, I play as the Hag, which is like the shorter killer, and they really show you the height. Like, this motherfucker is short. You can't see through the grass when you the Hag. I'm like, fuck this.
Damn.
And then, by myself wise, I decided 2K23 NBA became free, so I downloaded that. I'm about to get. I haven't gotten a chance to start the story mode because the download process takes fucking forever.
Get your internet speed up.
No.
No.
As well. And then streaming wise, it's The Fall of Porcupine, the sequel to Night in the Woods. It's by far one of my favorite indie games of all time.
I heard about that.
Night in the Woods is my favorite indie game of all time.
Really?
One of the best.
All time?
Dude, it's so fucking dumb and funny. Like, it's so great.
That's a good question. What would be your, or Brother Zay, what would be your favorite indie game of all time? Up until this point, at least.
I got the perfect one. Death's Door. I love Death's Door.
Death's Door.
It was really great. The story was great, full of action. It felt like a little Dark Souls / Legend of Zelda, but in a weird world. It was awesome. I loved it.
Little Death Souls.
Yeah.
My favorite is Inside.
Inside was good.
Yeah, Inside. Although it was a toss up between that and Limbo, because I know
Limbo was also great.
Yeah, Limbo was great, and Inside is by the same developers. But I felt like Inside just had that, because Limbo, it kind of just threw you into the world, and then you just had to just figure it out. But Inside, it kind of tells you the story as you go. So it's like, it's like a mystery. You got to figure out like what is going on with these people and why are they like being abducted and brainwashed or whatever. It's really cool. So that would be my favorite indie game.
It's definitely a great game.
Speaking of indies, I just the games that I've played.
Well,
I beat Bramble because that was added to the Game Pass recently.
Bramble,
and it's like think Little Nightmares.
That's another one that I gotta, because I finished the first one. I feel like I might do the next one.
Little Nightmares considered an indie game? I just don't want to.
I mean,
is it? I think it is.
I don't know if it's an indie game, but
I'm gonna look it up.
I do know that it's a smaller game, and Bramble is in the same realm of how Little Nightmares is. It's
also it is not an indie game. It is published by Bandai Namco.
Okay.
So
well, Bramble is what I was playing and finished. It was really good, very creepy. Had some jump scares.
Okay.
That's about right for that game.
And so if you want to play, it's on Game Pass. And I also beat Diablo 4. I beat the main campaign. And we all
never
know...
beat Diablo 4. What are you talking about? That game is infinite.
Listen. I beat the main campaign. Okay, and if you would have let me finish,
we heard you.
I'm gonna continue, of course. You know, I'm still working on my Paragon board, so there's a ton of stuff. There's so much content in Diablo 4, it's ridiculous. But I did beat the main campaign and Bramble, so that's what I've been playing. And now I'm sort of like in this vacuum of what to play next until Starfield.
You gotta get something, and you got 2 months.
I don't know. I know Exo Primal's coming to Game Pass soon, so I'll try that out.
You're welcome to join me in the fandom of a Night in the Woods.
Oh no.
A Night in the Woods is on Game Pass, no?
Is it?
Hold on. I feel I've heard Night in the Woods before, and I feel like I played it for.
I think it is.
It's pretty much.
Or maybe it was.
It's pretty much a side scroller read along, honestly. Like you just move along, but it's really just a read along game. You can't really do shit. It has some mini games. It's really fucking dumb and fun. We just have the best jokes.
Okay, at least at one point it was. I don't think it is anymore.
It's okay. Tell you the Foil Porcupine has nothing to do with Nine in the Woods. It's just by the same. Yeah, it's by the same people. So everyone just calls it the sequel.
Fall of Porcupine. Interesting.
Gotta go stream that tomorrow night while y'all do emergency recording just in case FTC says some shit.
I know, right?
Potentially.
Potentially, we'll see.
Yeah. Potentially is nuts.
All right, so let's get some news because we have a little bit. You know, got to catch up since some scheduling changed. So,
yes.
Well, the first bit of news we have is some leaks and rumors about Assassin's Creed 4 remaking the critically acclaimed Black Flag.
Yeah, that brought me to tears.
Did you guys play Black Flag?
Did you not just hear me say brought me to tears?
Oh, I didn't. I heard tears and I was like, you okay?
Yeah. No, I'm not.
Well, play that game again. Are those good tears or bad tears? You know?
Oh, fuck, I cried every time I see them die. Don't make me do it again.
Well, they've been working. Ubisoft has been working on Skull and Bones, and everybody's been just asking for Ubisoft, stop that, go to Black Flag remake Black Flag, and so they have heavily implied. Nothing's official, but they heavily implied that they could be potentially making a Black Flag remake, which would be interesting because Black Flag was a good game.
I don't know. I feel okay. So I played Black Flag. I did enjoy it, but it's like of all the Assassin's Creed games to remake, why Black Flag?
Didn't they already do a remake of like Assassin's Creed, most of the Ezio games, or is that not done yet?
It was a port. They didn't really remake it.
They didn't remake it. Yeah, they ported it over to the new consoles and stuff. But with all the DLC and everything,
they might be being lazy. Like, look, we ported it. What more do y'all want?
Right.
Yeah.
And honestly, after they do the Ezio stuff, I feel like the next one would have either be 4 or 3. 3 wasn't as popular as 4.
Yeah, 3 wasn't as popular as 4. And I think they're remaking just the mainline game. Because 4 is a mainline game, not like a side, not like Syndicate,
Yeah.
So I don't know. You didn't like Black Flag, Producer Jay?
No, I did like it. It's just weird that they chose this one. So honestly, when I heard this news, I started thinking because I remember about the whole Skull and Bones thing. And I was just like, I wonder if essentially because when Skull and Bones was announced, it was a little bit after Black Flag, and it was because people liked the ship gameplay of Black Flag. Yeah, so they said, oh, let's make that its own game. And then, we just never heard anything after that. It was always delays or the development issues.
Remember, the ship and bone gameplay came from Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, that's
3.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that's right. It came from 3 first.
Yeah, it was 3 first, and then they put it in the 4, and then they made that nonsense. So that technically was the last one. I'm calling it nonsense because I don't remember what you said.
I wonder if the whole Skull and Bones thing will tie into this Black Flag remake, and basically they'll merge the two, because I feel like at this point Skull and Bones, it's been so long that people forgot about it, and
they originally delayed it indefinitely, and then they said it was going to be a closed beta in August. So at the Summer Games Fest, they said they were going to do a closed beta. So who knows what's going to happen?
I just think if they really wanted to maximize the profitability of this game, I feel like they should just merge the two and make that part a separate mode within Black Flag.
Or make it like the multiplayer version and just remake the story.
Remake the story. You can do all that and then have like a multiplayer, like open world, open sea, kind of like Sea of Thieves, but with Assassin's Creed gameplay.
Yeah.
But focus more on the shipping aspect or shipping. I don't know. Pirating. There you go. Yeah.
Old school pirating.
But I feel like that's honestly their best play that they could do, because I don't see anybody really playing Skull and Bones at this point.
Yeah.
From what I've seen of it, I won't touch it.
To be honest, while the pirate or the flying the boat, sailing the boat, it was fun and it was intuitive and it wasn't like boring, but like I wouldn't play a whole game of that though.
I mean, there's definitely there's definitely a crowd that wants it, you know. Definitely a crowd that people want to play.
Are they still there wanting this game 10 years later?
10 years.
It's literally been 10 years. Assassin's Creed Black Flag came out in like 2012, 2013.
The whole pirate, thing is not past its prime. People love the genre.
Does it ever go away though? Like, I feel like pirates
not really.
and zombies are always in vogue. Like you can always make something related to that and people would like it.
There's always pirate zombies and you'll get the occasional Viking.
Vikings. Actually, yeah, Vikings. That's another one. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens with Skull and Bones, but Black Flag, I'll check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
And I kind of want to go back to play it, just go through my emotions again.
No, you don't.
I still gotta go through my freaking. I literally have every single Assassin's Creed game in my backlog,
which is crazy.
Oh my god!
I buy them.
Rest in peace, your backlog now. Now that I know that, rest in peace.
Every Assassin's Creed.
Every Assassin's Creed. I replayed it like in 2016 or no 2015,
bro.
And I got up all the way to Syndicate, and then I stopped.
Oh my god!
So I have Syndicate all the way up till now.
You know what? You're right. Rest in peace, your backlog for real.
Brother Tay got his wish. The jokes continue.
I did. Jesus Christ,
I buy them on sale. They do the bundles or whatever.
I understand. I think the same way.
No, he just has a problem. He doesn't want to admit it.
I do have a problem.
You have too much.
I admit it. I'm not afraid, but it is a problem.
So,
brother said, I got Assassin's Creed 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Revelations, Bloodline.
Oh, man. So, we're going to continue with some more news. This time, it's not good news, We have Daedalic Entertainment, the company behind this year's critically lambasted Lord of the Rings Gollem, is reported to exit game development completely. They laid off 25 employees as part of the move. An additional, a second Lord of the Rings game that was in development at the studio has been canceled. So because this game was so bad, it's not well received, it's not well reviewed, the bugs, it's just terrible. And it was charging full $70 price. It sort of became a meme online that it was going to be Game of the Year because of how bad it was.
They got mine, though. I don't know what you're talking about.
So now, the whole game studio is completely done. They're closed up shop. The first move was firing 25 people, and now the whole studio is closed from one bad game.
What's crazy is that at some point, the higher ups at the studio or the publisher had to look at this game, and they said, "Yeah, you could put that out." That's the crazy part to me. Like, I thought people were being exaggerated when it came to like shit talking this game, but when I saw videos of it,
it was bad.
It is bad. This is like PS2 levels of bad in terms like just animations, even the graphics. It looked like a PS2 game. I was like, why did this release? Like, I feel like maybe because they thought, oh, it's Lord of the Rings, it'll sell.
Yeah,
like that's literally what they thought.
Exactly.
I guarantee you.
Those shareholders didn't see the game at all. They were just like, Lord of the Rings, that's gonna make money.
No,
let's do it.
And it probably did sell for the first bit because it was Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly.
Then mice get you. They're like, wait a minute, what the
that's
fuck
crazy.
Is this?
Yeah,
I mean, I feel bad for the developers.
Of course,
like, you know, they probably put like hard work into that game, and I'm sure there's a reason why it ended up the way it did. It's not like they probably didn't want to put it out, but they had to because deadlines, and you know, they probably wanted to tie it into something the Lord of the Rings related. But yeah, no, it sucks that they're just like completely exiting the gaming industry altogether.
Yeah, completely just no longer developing any type of games at all.
Yeah, the studio's just done. Like,
I mean, it sucks for the people, but ultimately they did bring out a really terrible game. And I guess this shows the dynamics of video games. If you bring out a game and it does terrible, you can lose your job. You can lose everything you had.
Yeah,
you know, that is why these big companies, they make games. They pour in a ton of money, ton of time, have a lot of people working on them, making them, because they know the gaming backlash from the community can be terrible, and it can be so bad that you could shut down the whole studio.
It's a big risk.
That is a terrible thing.
Yeah, and the budget for these games, I mean, I dread what the budget for this game was. If it was
there was never revealed, so I hope not bad.
I hope it wasn't that big, because if so, that's
you said there
terrible.
was never a reveal. Oh no, clear there was a problem there for real.
But yeah, I mean, we'll I mean, I'm sure we'll find out later on, like when like a developer does like an interview or something.
Yeah,
but or like they do a YouTube video.
It will definitely leak.
It'll leak. We'll find out eventually.
So I guess the next bit of news we have is from Asus ROG Ally. So this handheld that runs Windows 11 looks really great. Honestly, I kind of want one, no lie.
I know. I've been singing its praises, and this news breaks my heart.
Yeah, it does. They so the news is that it's running really hot. So hot it is frying people's SD cards. You know,
because the SD card is put like right next to where the exhaust is.
Yes,
for the fans.
Yes. Now there was an update to this article from Windows Central. Asus, they are working on a software fix, you know, an update to try and help this situation. So things can look better on in the future, but as of right now, and it's not like every single unit is doing this. It's just been reported that people have been frying their micro SD cards. So hopefully with this update that they're working on, it patches this issue. But I don't know if a software update can patch an issue like this.
It's probably, it'll do something where it like runs the fans maybe like faster or slower, whatever the case may be, to like make sure it doesn't get too hot next to the SD card. Or maybe they might even have recommended SD cards that you should use, or I don't know. But yeah, I don't think a software update is gonna.
We need to steal a micro SD card.
Yeah,
so it doesn't melt. That's crazy.
But I mean, obviously, it's not a huge issue. Like, you could just take out the SD card, you'd be fine. But is storage. Like, you need more storage.
Yeah. You need storage. You want to play games, you need storage.
Unless you're gonna play like 1 or 2 games at a time, which I guess you could if you really wanted to. But that defeats the whole purpose. Like, the whole purpose was bringing your library with you. So
yeah.
hopefully they can fix it because I do eventually want to get one.
Oh, look
And
at you.
I mean, it'll give me more time to play my games and complete them.
I swear to God.
I'm serious though.
No Aces ROG Ally for you, okay?
I can play at my job.
You hear
You
this?
Like you won't.
It's the truth. I play my Switch at the job.
Yeah, I'm listening.
I do. I'm almost done with Pokemon Sword.
I believe you.
No, you don't.
That's your problem, not mine. That sounds like a you problem, not me. So, it's fine.
Oh, all right. So we have some games coming to Xbox. So we have some a PlayStation exclusive, former PlayStation exclusives, is now confirmed to be coming to Xbox in August. The cat game Stray will be coming to Xbox. No Game Pass, but it's still come to Xbox. So all the people who were not able to play it because they don't own a PlayStation can finally dig into this game.
It's a good game. I played it.
You played it?
Yeah, I
just
beat
gonna
it.
ask you.
I 100%ed it. It's really good. It's
Well done,
very
personally.
charming.
Charming. Yeah, I mean, I like indie games, and I tell you, this year has
And
been
it's
really
by-
good
it's
for indie
by-
games.
It's by Annapurna, so
Yeah.
Annapurna has a good track record.
I mean, they just announced a deal with Microsoft, right? They're going to be bringing more games to Game Pass. Annapurna.
Yes.
They are going to be working more closely with them. So it was fitting for them to bring this exclusive from PlayStation to Xbox. You know, the more games that come to other systems, the better. Just more people could play them.
I wonder if the no Game Pass thing has something to do with it still being on PS Plus.
It has something to do with it being on PlayStation in general.
Well, I think because PlayStation signs these deals to make
Yes.
sure the games don't come to Xbox Game Pass. So
Yeah, sometimes don't come to Xbox at all. So we all know.
yeah.
So we all know that they do these deals now because of everything that's come out from the trial from the FTC trial.
Yes.
Damn.
So I'm just glad it's coming to Xbox. I had it on my PlayStation, but
It's not long, honestly. You could beat it in like 2 hours. It's really not that long.
so I'll beat it in August.
There you go.
Before
That'll be like your last game.
that was my
before
last
Starfield.
game before Starfield. Exactly.
There you go.
Starfield will take over. So I'll play that on Xbox when it releases in August. Hopefully, we'll get an official date. They just said August. So I don't know. Hopefully, it's not too late in August. I
Yeah.
gotta prepare.
That's what I gotta prepare. Or it happens.
So we have some news about Xbox going to some more game shows. We have Gamescom in August, at the end
Late
of August.
August, yeah.
At the end of August, right before the official early release of Starfield. And they announced that they're going to do Tokyo Game Show in September. And these are big. You know, E3 is supposedly canceled. You know, they weren't going to do E3. Everybody's doing their own sort of like little shows and stuff, digital events. But these shows, especially in Gamescom, they're going to be on the show floor, showing games and being with the people. And
It's been a
games-
while since
people.
Xbox has
Yeah.
has been on like the show floor, because usually they'll attend, but they'll have like their own like little stream, and maybe they'll have like 1 or 2 games out. But this time they have like space on the floor to show off their games, and I'm very curious on what games they're gonna show actually, because there's not, even though they have they have games coming out, but it's like I don't think there's enough to like show on the show. Because I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about it, and they were saying like they can't show Starfield. It's too close to release date. So maybe like Forza or maybe even Avowed. I don't know. Like we'll have to see.
I don't think people can get what Starfield is in just playing for like 10 or 15 minutes anyway.
That too. That's also true. Because that game, like, yeah, no,
Game is a lot.
you could spend hours just on the creator character.
Yeah, exactly. Like
What
what are they gonna do in Starfield for 10 minutes? Like, come on now, you're gonna need time.
Set their perks. That's it.
I mean, Todd Howard even said just having an hour in Starfield, you're not gonna really get the game. You know, you need to get in there, explore, do missions, travel to other planets. You know, speak to people. You can't do that in 20 minutes. I'm sorry.
You gotta dig deep.
Exactly.
Brother Taken. Because apparently he could do a lot in little bit of time that he has. So
just because y'all don't know how to maximize your time during the day, I got nothing to do with me personally. It's because because I got these 4 jobs don't mean shit to me.
You can have that. You can have that because you have no kids.
That's true.
That's a whole fact. That shit. I guarantee if I have a child now, I guarantee you those it becomes one job real quick.
Yes, because that's your other job. So
I can't leave this. It's like you got a baby. Fuck.
Well, I gotta quit.
It's like, what happened? I got a kid. I can't not. Like, I gotta be there on the weekend.
I gotta raise him.
I can't let him be in the street.
Okay, so now we'll dive into the last bit of the FTC trial and the last couple of days, including the closing arguments, and what was sort of revealed in that time period. What do we think is going to happen, and where do we stand? You know, honestly, I really was hoping for some major news since we changed the schedule, but that still hasn't happened.
No.
So we'll
still
go
checking
over,
like periodically as we
record. refresh. Yeah,
hopefully,
you hoping,
I doubt
like,
it.
Yeah. So we're still got to talk about everything that we've heard, or at least parts of things, because it is a lot of information out there. And we'll dive right into it.
Yeah. So I was listening to the whole thing. I listened to every day. I thought I was gonna be. I might have to miss a day or two, but I listened to the whole thing. And I'm gonna be honest, it was freaking boring because it was just a lot of like.
There's a lot of legal talk.
It's a lot of legal jargon and basically asking softball questions to try and set up a narrative. And it's like they'll spend an hour or like 2 hours asking the most basic ass questions. And then maybe like the last 10 minutes, they'll ask some like actually like interesting questions. Yeah, or like if you don't pay attention.
You seem surprised on what.
I mean,
what
yes,
I
knew this going in because I listen to podcasts all the time. So like this was kind of like background music or whatever. So so saying that, as it was so boring throughout the whole thing, the closing arguments was spicy AF. Like it felt like what everybody wanted it to be, like a back and forth arguing, questioning, like calling out what they said. It's like, no, that's not true. This is not. It was very entertaining. Yeah. So if you listened to just that, it would have been worth it.
What really upset me was that this wasn't available for more people to see and or hear.
I wish they would have posted it afterwards. Apparently, they decided against that. Well, I mean, granted, they were gonna not even make it public. Like, you just had to look at news articles for it. But they made it on the Zoom thing, which, I mean, we were talking in the group chat about it. It was pissing me off because it was a Zoom thing, and if you weren't there, like, right at time, it would kick you out because it reached the limit, which was like 1,000 people per stream.
I waited 4 hours to get in.
I'm telling you, it was ridiculous. And then as I was, when I was at work, because on the 2 days, Thursday and Friday, the first 2 days, I was at work listening to it. But at work, I have to use the elevator, and I lose service in the elevator. So I kept getting kicked out, and it was pissing me off.
You were complaining about that. That shit was hilarious to me.
It was annoying. And there's only one elevator. That's the thing. One elevator, I lose service, and that was the only one that I could take. So, but yeah, no, it was a lot of stuff came out, and I feel like, so it basically comes down to, and we were talking about this in the group chat as well. It comes down to, it's not about is Microsoft like right or in the right or whatever? Like, obviously, logically, if you think about it, they're in the right to do this. Like, there's no reason why they shouldn't, at least based on the evidence that we've had so far.
Yeah.
But the whole court case wasn't about that. It was about the judge deciding if maybe there was a shadow of a doubt that this could lead to harm on either PlayStation or streaming or whatever the case may be. They had to establish at least a little bit of doubt in the judge to be like, okay, maybe we need more time with this. Because that's essentially what an injunction does. It gives more time. The only difference is that with this particular situation, this injunction means they go through with it or they don't. Like, it's live or die pretty much with this injunction. But normally it wouldn't be. So that's why it's like a little bit different in this
because
case.
they could technically win in appeals, but they don't want it to do that because that could take a year or two. They don't want to continue going on with this.
Exactly.
They want it to be over. But that's ultimately I think the judge is not there to see if it's going to harm PlayStation, because she actually said that. Like,
that's true too.
She actually said, I don't care if it would harm PlayStation. I care if it would harm consumers. And the FTC, as in they were like stuck. They didn't know what to do or say, because ultimately the FTC's whole case was it's going to harm Sony because they're going to lose PlayStation. And they could not prove, I believe, from what I've heard and all the updates from people, from lawyers like False Patents on Twitter, everything that I've read and heard, they could not prove at all that it was going to harm consumers. And that is why I believe, no matter what, this case is over and Xbox can win. But also, I could be wrong, because we also thought that we were in the same position when CMAs was doing it. We were like, oh, the Xbox got in the bag, and then look what happened. The CMAs,
when they threw out the console harm stuff, I thought it was a slam dunk, and then it wasn't.
We really don't know what the judge is going to decide. I do feel this is more fair in this process with the FTC, the judge, and the Xbox, simply because it's not some sort of outside panel, outside of the government panel. No, they have to abide by rules, regulations, the law, you know, and based on the judge's own words, she doesn't care about Sony, simply because even in the testimonials that we'll talk about with Jim Ryan's testimonials, he doesn't even care about Call of Duty being if it goes exclusive. So I don't believe that the FTC put enough evidence out there to say this going to harm consumers.
So for the most part, because even on the last episode, I was saying it like, I think they lost it. I think this injunction is getting denied, and this and that. You were the one who was like, no, let's not say that because it jinx it. Blah, blah, blah,
I don't want to jinx it. I really don't.
I know. But I felt like towards the end, the FTC was starting to get something of a point across, but I felt like they just never got to what that point was supposed to be. It's like they were building up to it, and they were making like suggestions at some things, but it's like it felt like they were wildly unprepared for whatever reason. I don't understand. I don't understand how, because they initially sued to block in December, right? That's 6 months ago.
6 months.
So they waited 6 months. What happened?
Is that true? I think they might have been unprepared. They probably were going to spearhead to one like arguments that probably thought they had the best chance to winning. And I think whatever the judge said, they might have been something the judge said that that made them have to change their whole strategy. Because that's what you normally do when you go to court. Especially if your defense is just to prove that something's an issue, and once the judge be like, yeah, I don't care about that. Like the judge said, I don't care about something. Or the judge says any line to what their opinion might sway to, they're like, okay, we have to change the argument. We're gonna need more time.
Yeah, no, honestly, that kind of makes sense, because they spent the majority of their time fighting, like what Brother Zay said, for Sony, for PlayStation.
Yeah, to prove that it's going to hurt PlayStation or Sony's records. And once this is just an assumption. Once the judge was like, I don't really care about Sony or like PlayStation or what their sales are. Their plan was that probably had the lawyers like, oh crap, all right, now we got to think of a new strategy on the fly.
Yeah.
Just to at least seem like we had something prepared.
But what's interesting, and which I don't understand why they didn't even try this from the start. And it makes less sense why they would go towards the PlayStation route. The EU and the CMA both threw out the PlayStation harm as anything significant. They both threw it out, and aside from those, every other regulator threw all like contention or what do they call it? Something of harm.
Consent?
I don't know, but they theories of harm. There you go.
Yeah.
They threw out all theories of harm and approved it unconditionally, except for the EU and CMA. But they threw out the PlayStation part, but their concern was mostly on the cloud aspect. And
which the FTC didn't spend a lot of time on.
Exactly. That's why I don't understand. Like, they saw what the CMA did, what they said. They blocked it. The EU, they showed concern, and they offered remedies to alleviate those concerns. Why didn't the FTC focus on cloud? It makes no sense to me why they thought PlayStation was the go-to way to win this. It's weird that they just didn't think to go with what the other ones were doing, considering that the whole CMA FTC collusion thing was like a month ago, or 2 months ago at this point. But it's just very crazy. And the whole Stadia thing, when that guy came on, they brought him on because he had to leave because he was, I don't know, he was going somewhere. So they brought him on last minute, and they had to kind of like rush through his thing. But even then, he said himself that they didn't. They were competing with Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah,
and
it
other
wasn't
cloud
its own
services.
market.
It wasn't its own market, like the FTC is saying and the CMA is saying, and all that.
So their own witness went against them.
Yeah. But also, so like on these last 3 days, they kept going back to, at least towards the end, they kept going back to these this model of how many, what percentage of PlayStation gamers who played Call of Duty would jump ship to Xbox if it would be, if theoretically if it became part of Microsoft, and that was based off of Jim Ryan's quote or testimony where he said 20% would go over to Xbox. But the thing is, their math wasn't mathing, because they were conflating that 20% of Call of Duty players as 20% of PlayStation players. And even towards the end, the judge was even questioning. It's like, where did you get this 20% from? And they said, it's from Jim Ryan's testimony. And it's just like, no, but and then they had a finance officer give a testimony as well, and they say, but she did this and she was looking at real world data. And then the judge was saying, like, no, what they did was they took 20% of Call of Duty players, and they didn't take into account that not every Call of Duty player is like a diehard Call of Duty player. Yeah, like, some of them play for hundreds of hours, some play for like 2 hours, and then they put it down. So they were taking that 20% and mixing them all together, because honestly, if you play Call of Duty for like 2 or 3 hours total, you're probably not going to care if it goes to Xbox or not. You're going to be like, it's on Xbox? Oh, well, I guess I'll stop playing it.
Yeah.
So it's like, those people are not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But it's the diehards that are going to possibly make it over to the buy over on the competitor's platform, Xbox. So it
maybe
was
not even though. So she
maybe not even
with that particular graph. She said, "Well, can you just play it on the PC?" And this is the judge talking. Can't you just play Call of Duty on the PC? Which you absolutely can. And she goes, okay, why can't people do that? If they don't have to buy Xbox, they could play it on PC. And she said, for the last year or 2 years, people were working from home. So we know people have access to PCs, so they should be able to theoretically have access to Call of Duty without having to spend more money by going to buy Xbox or anything else.
Right.
And they were just like,
They were like, yeah, I get.
No,
they
but
didn't say that, but
no, we can't do this. Yeah, that's my
that's funny.
my reenactment of that little play right there, because they were like, dumbfounded that the judge even was knowledgeable that they can do this, and it's
the
like,
judge oh god, the judge just looks at it like, so what about computers? And
yeah,
he's like,
exactly.
yeah,
the
that's
alien
why.
was like, nigga, what?
But that was essentially what that 20% thing, why she was focused on that 20%, because like 20% of what? Because like you're saying that all of these players are going to migrate over, but know clearly that it's not going to be all those players. Like it's going to be a percentage of a percentage of a percentage.
Yeah.
And that's not a lot. So that, and then they were stammering and they were trying to figure out like what to say, and then they just kept on bringing up. What got me pissed off?
What
happened?
No, I'm just making just the stammering of the lawyers.
Yeah, that's exactly what they were doing.
But
and what kept getting me pissed off though throughout the whole trial, all the 5 days, they kept bringing up Nintendo.
Yeah,
every single witness kept getting asked about Nintendo, and it's just like, why are you constantly like focusing on it? What got me is they seem to believe that the Switch is the last console Nintendo's ever gonna make. They're not considering that maybe in the future there will be another Switch, maybe like a Switch 2 or Switch Pro, whatever you want to call it.
There definitely can be one next year.
That can run Call of Duty better. So it's like, I don't understand why they would even bring Nintendo into this, as if, they can't bring the Switch. Like, they're lying. They're not going to be able to perform Call of Duty on the Switch. Like, it's impossible. Like,
I mean, Call of Duty was performing on the Wii.
Exactly.
So
because they were trying to make the argument that it won't be the same. Like, obviously, it's not going to be the same. Fortnite is not the same on the Switch as it is on the Xbox, as it is on PC.
Yeah.
But you can still play together.
Yeah.
Because like that's just how it works. You make it work. You make sacrifices, and it's still functionally the same game.
Yeah. And speaking of Switch, because I'm glad you brought up Nintendo, because brother Matt sent me over something on Twitter. So on the next gen Switch has potentially been spotted on the developer support portal site, a code name NX2, and it has the controllers like silhouette of what looks to be exactly like the Switch. So
it's probably gonna be like a Switch 2, Switch Pro.
Yeah, I would say like a Switch 2 probably. So that came up on a developer support portal site. So who knows? This may actually be coming sooner than we think.
It probably. I feel like it's long overdue.
It's every 7 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It should have been, or it could still be announced later on this year, and then launch next year. But
I can't wait for that.
I mean, I freaking bought 5 Switches.
God,
that just means
I
you
literally
haven't
bought
bought
one for
enough.
my fiance.
Oh my God,
that's called love.
It is.
Why is you like? I don't understand what the problem
is. Just going back to the FTC stuff. So like, I remember like right before the closing arguments, I was just like, I don't know. Like, it felt like the judge could potentially have been swayed. The FTC they were, like I said, they were making some kind of valid points in certain aspects. And it really just, I mean, obviously I'm not the judge, so I don't know what she's thinking, but you have to take into account that she may not care about this stuff enough to really understand like what the FTC were saying and kind of just take them at face value. But I mean, also the same thing could be said for Microsoft as well. But But once they got started with the closing arguments, the judge was questioning every single thing that the FTC brought up. Very little about Xbox or Microsoft, but it was mostly focused on the FTC, and it felt like she was not. This is just my perspective, my opinion. I'm not saying this. I'm not trying to jinx nothing, but it felt for me, she really didn't buy the FTC's arguments, and she was essentially giving them the last chance to be like, okay, what you said throughout the past 5 days didn't really sway me. Give me a reason why you want this injunction. Like, give me, like, after everything was said and done, give me, like, the reason why I should grant this injunction. Because she kept asking questions about this. She kept throwing stuff out there that the FTC couldn't really respond to.
And making really big mistakes that Xbox lawyer had to just come in and say, no, that's not true. It's not this game. It's this game.
No, they tried to compare Call of Duty because the judge asked the FTC, all right, what, because they were comparing the ZeniMax deal. It's like, what game from the ZeniMax deal is comparable to Call of Duty?
Yeah.
And they try to say the Elder Scrolls.
Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, no, they didn't say Elder Scrolls 6.
Right?
No, they said Elder Scrolls.
No,
actually, that was actually the Microsoft mess up.
It was the Microsoft mess up. Okay.
But yeah, no, they said the Elder Scrolls, but that's all they said. And they were actually talking about Elder Scrolls Online.
Elder Scrolls Online.
But Elder Scrolls Online is on PlayStation. And and Elder Scrolls, and then this is when the Microsoft lawyer came in. She said, if they're talking about Elder Scrolls Online, that's on PlayStation, so it's not really comparable in terms of like in scope or whatever. It's an MMO or whatever. The one that they were talking about was the Elder Scrolls, but then instead of saying 6, she said 16. So it was a little bit funny there, but even then, if you're comparing like mainline Elder Scrolls games, in no way incomparable to Call of Duty. Call of Duty
they come
is
out
a
like once a generation.
Call of Duty is a yearly release. It's a first-person shooter, and it's multiplayer, like focused. Yeah, they have campaign, but it's mostly focused on multiplayer. As battle passes. That's Call of Duty. Elder Scrolls has none of that. Technically, you could play it in first person, but that's about it. Like, it's a RPG. It's single player, and it's super expansive. And you said, like, it releases once a generation. So it's like
every 10 years.
Where did they come up with this that Elder Scrolls was the same as Call of Duty? Yeah. Maybe in terms of like
sales?
Not even sales. Call of Duty like demolishes. I think maybe Skyrim, because Skyrim was sold on everything. You could play it on your toaster. But
it was delicious. First of all, I'll be making fun of my toaster.
Your Skyrim toast.
Yeah.
I think they were just comparing popularity, and I guess yes, they are comparable in that sense, but that's it. In terms of like the actual game themselves, they are not the same game at all.
No, completely widely different. Widely different.
Yeah, and then once the Microsoft lawyer stepped in, like the FTC was just like, but Sony.
What about it?
And she reiterated that we're not here to talk about Sony. You know.
Yeah, I'm glad she said that too, because everybody's thinking that. Everybody's thinking like, this is not about Sony. This is not even about Xbox. This is about consumers. Does this harm consumers? And that's what the FTC failed to bring forward. And honestly, it really just depends on how much the judge cares about this stuff. Because if she don't care and she's just like, whatever, it's just another case, here's the injunction, whatever.
No,
because it's not her responsibility to take into account that the Activision and Microsoft will walk away. That's not her concern, because that's their decision. But if she does care and she does put the effort into actually like learning about this stuff, which it seemed like she did, because she was asking a lot of questions. I'm glad you said that,
because I think respectfully to the judge, she really did her homework. I mean, she was asking really tough questions to the FTC. It seemed like she was very fair and impartial, and even grew to learn more about the gaming community as a whole just from this one case.
Right.
She's like, I don't understand this.
So
But, you know,
I respect her, and even if this decision is different from what I believe, I would still respect her for being fair and impartial and for being,
for
open.
trying.
Yeah, exactly. Because she doesn't have nothing to do with the gaming community. She has absolutely no idea what's what. She's learning all this new. Most people don't know about games or this whole big community, Xbox and PlayStation. They don't understand.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot. It's a lot to take. Yeah, it's a lot to take in, and honestly, that's why initially the FTC wanted only 2 days for this trial, and then Microsoft was like, "No, we need 5 days because this is a lot of information to take in." They were probably banking on the judge
Judges not
really
caring.
Yeah, just not caring. Like, this is too much. Whatever. Here's the injunction. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably what they were banking on because, like I said, it seemed like they were very unprepared for this, and they probably only were planning for 2 days.
Yeah, that's their fault.
It is.
So
So honestly, it could go either way.
Could
I'm leaning towards it not going through, not the merger, but the injunction.
The injunction, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So you
leaning
think the
towards
judge
it.
is going to deny the FTC?
I do feel very strongly that the judge will deny the injunction request. However, because granted, the FTC could just drop it altogether. She'll probably say because it's that they already have a court date for the administrative, I guess, trial.
Yeah.
In the FTC I think it's in August. So I think she was like, she'll probably be like, you can deal with it then. And if that's the case, then the FTC basically is even more handicapped because they got their injunction blocked, and a judge already
a judge already kind of just went against.
Dismissed. That's what I meant. Yeah. So basically, they dismissed the case that the FTC was bringing. Granted, the administrative court is the FTC's court, but like the whole point was that if the FTC's court denied it or sided with the FTC, then Xbox could take it to federal court. But that's what this was for. So it's a lot, but it would be a lot for the FTC to continue this if they get the injunction thrown out.
Yep.
So it really just depends on what the FTC wants to do. Do they want to waste more time on this? I don't think so. I don't know. I felt like they were trying not to waste time. Like, they wanted this done and over with. That's why they were stalling all the way up until the end, because they thought it was going to be a slam dunk.
I think that's why.
They don't have a case.
The same thing is on the CMA side, because on the CMA side, they asked the CAT Tribunal for more time because they couldn't find lawyers.
Oh, yeah. And
the CAT Tribunal was like, no, get this done and over with. You had plenty of time to prepare and get lawyers ready. If you can't find a lawyer, then that's your problem.
Yes. So, honestly, I hope
couldn't find a lawyer. Sounds like a you problem, huh?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? There's plenty of lawyers. Nobody wants to take the case because they don't have a case.
It's a losing case. Yeah,
nobody wants to be
hard.
in a losing case, especially such a high-profile merger case like this.
Yeah, it would look bad on them if they took it and lost.
Yeah, nobody wants down their record.
Hopefully, this gets all wrapped up with by the time we record next time. Actually, when is that?
I don't. That should go around for another 20 minutes.
Actually, yes, next Thursday we will know for sure, 100%. We will know because they said they'll publicly release the documents on what the judge said on the 12th. So she's releasing it sealed to the FTC and to Microsoft, so that way they can start redacting stuff if they need to.
Yeah.
And afterwards, whatever the case may be, then that's when usually we'll find out. The news outlets will find out first, and then we'll hear from them, and then we'll see what was actually said from the judge on the 12th. So we'll know before the 12th. That's when the public records will, or the records will be public.
Well, let's hope at least it's done by then. And
Yeah,
if it is done sooner, before the next time we record, we'll do something. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, I mean, we could do an emergency podcast. I'm down for that.
Oh, this week.
Hey, I will do one solo if necessary. So
we'll plan something.
Yes.
This man is speaking French. I don't understand.
That about wraps it up for us this week. Also, one more thing. I know this just happened. We are also on Threads, which is the new Instagram
currently
Twitter clone.
Yeah.
Yes, I haven't added to the little logos, but I'll probably do it next week. But yes, you can find us on Threads. Basically it's the same as Instagram. So if you followed us on Instagram, you could just follow us on Threads as well. We'll be posting there every now and again as well. So stay tuned. And anything else, guys?
We're
good? All right.
About COVID.
What?
Oh, he said something about COVID. I'm like, whoa.
COVID.
I was like, whoa, we took a turn.
He's got PTSD.
Right?
Like,
He's
that
like,
wasn't
no,
the strategy.
not again. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Later.
It'd
be hot.
It do be hot.